Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for our cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest. That's going to be Megan Brantley, Vice President of Research at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Megan.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy Friday.
All right, Megan, we're talking Amazon. Shares have had a nice run. We had a little bit of a dip over the last week or so, but probably that port strike being averted, helping this name along with a lot of other retailers going into the holiday shopping season. They make most of their money on AWS as far as margins goes, but this is still a retail behemoth, Megan, and they've got the Prime Days next week. What kind of data do you guys have?
Yeah, so, Amazon, if you think about just everything that this company offers consumers, it's massive. And we can really focus in on those two fronts, like you mentioned. It's cloud front and also its retail front. And right now, just because of this event that it's got slated for next week, we do see a lot more hype and a lot more mentions from consumers just on that retail front. Whenever we look at overall web visits, we see a little bit of a spike and a little bit of a bump as consumers are checking out Amazon's site and seeing, what things are going to be offered, where are prices now, what kind of deal am I going to get next week? You've got a really savvy consumer, and I think that that's important. And that's something that Amazon is going to have to tackle head on, especially coming into this holiday season, because consumers are getting really picky with their discretionary spending, and they're doing a lot of research, and there's also rising competition, and especially rising competition from now really competent players. Whenever you look at this chart, you see Walmart is doing really well, and Walmart also has now a really robust e-commerce platform that a lot of consumers are already going to, because now Walmart has its own membership program, kind of like Amazon, and they're going and they're ordering their groceries from Walmart. Maybe they add in another item as well. And so I think that this is definitely one element of competition for Amazon. And then you also have the other elements. If you think of a Chinese rival in Temu, however you want to pronounce it. But we do see a lot of consumers who are talking about, okay, I'm able to find some things maybe a lot cheaper on this other site, that they don't have to go to Amazon anymore, and it's a similar shopping experience. And so this is definitely one to watch into this holiday season, as we do see some signs of weakness on the side of the consumer.
Megan, I'm starting to get this feel about Amazon of almost like an Apple-like ecosystem that you're in. And it's cloud, yes, it's e-commerce. Guess what's coming soon? Entertainment. They're getting bigger and bigger in entertainment as well. And it's amazing. You know where the biggest effect is lately? Walgreens, CVS. A high-profile CVS near my house closed.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're locking up the toothpaste in inner cities, and you can get it on Amazon and get it delivered to your house. I think the slow dominance of this company, and is there risks? I think the biggest risk to Amazon right now, I think the cloud pie is just getting bigger. I think the Azure competition is real, but Amazon's still winning. But it's that I looked at 2% cloud, IBM, Oracle, and Tencent. That might be what they should worry about down the road, as Oracle seems to be putting their hat in the cloud ring. I think, all things considered, this company is starting to build an Apple-like ecosystem. Megan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right. And you get all of these things seemingly added on and included with this membership that you're paying for anyway. So you can, have toothpaste shipped to your door and watch that NFL game. So there's so much to offer consumers. And this one is the largest names just in our ecosystem. Whenever we're looking at overall mentions, it might be the largest. I didn't check before I came on the show, but I know just from a mind share perspective, whenever you talk about cloud, and yes, this is a massively growing or massively rising tide that's lifting a lot of boats. And Amazon is still the major player here. It dominates about 74% of consumer mindshare on our end versus Microsoft Azure versus Google Cloud. And so I think that that's really important. It is still certainly the dominant force there. And I think another area that could be potentially untapped, that whenever you think about this ecosystem that it's creative, is advertising. Yeah. I know that last quarter advertising estimates, I think it was still north of 12, or the results were still north of 12 billion, but it was under what analysts were looking for. And so that was a little bit disappointing, but there's a massive opportunity for improvement here, because just think of all the data that Amazon has. Not only does it know your viewing patterns, it knows your shopping history, it knows its consumers really well. And so I think that there's a massive opportunity for advertising in this name as well that has so far maybe not been realized. I think that Amazon did a really good job of deploying its advertising platform across Prime. In fact, I think Netflix kind of copied Amazon's plan after it saw how well Amazon rolled this out. And so I think that that's another area of potential growth for Amazon that people may be underestimating.
Yeah, so if you look at their, they've got 30+% margins on AWS. You mentioned advertising. That grew 20% year over year, even though maybe it missed expectations there. So they've got an opportunity there. But when you look at the retail side, going into the Prime Days next week, this is going to be massive for them, and it typically is, where they're actually increasing margins on their e-commerce side also after, languishing for a while as cloud kind of took over. But that resurgence is also helping. Are they doing better against all their competitors based on what you guys see on your data?
The only area that they could improve upon is we do see a slight downturn in consumer happiness. And whenever we looked at that in previous years, a lot of that was due to the logistics side of things. Maybe shipping was a little bit slower than people expected, things of that nature. But now we're starting to see some consumers say, like, wait a minute, I ordered this this item off of Amazon and the quality is lower than I was expected. That the quality just wasn't there. There's a little bit of a mistrust in some of the items. I don't think that this is necessarily all of the Amazon retail experience, but it is enough to impact sentiment by just a couple of points. So something to watch there. And I think a lot of that has to do with just Amazon being really competitive with a lot of these other retailers that are out there that are from overseas that are taking some consumer eyeballs who are looking for deals and looking for those lower priced items. So I think that that's the only hint of caution I would say, is that we do see some consumers who are hunting for deals who are looking elsewhere, and other consumers who are looking for that premium experience on Amazon Prime and maybe a little bit underwhelmed with the quality of late. And so I think that there's an opportunity there for Amazon to kind of distinguish that. And I think on its last earnings call, it talked about spinning up its own discount site. And so I think that that's something that would be really, really well received by consumers, if they knew that they could go somewhere and kind of find those items and still have that Premier Prime experience. But at large, we do see traction heading into this October event. So we'll certainly be watching next week to see how consumers shop around, and also how other retailers, step up to the plate, because we know that typically whenever Amazon has an event, other names, whether it's a Walmart or a Target, they like to try to offer discounts too. And so we'll be able to watch that come through in real time.
Yeah, you did mention that they are opening their own discount segment to kind of compete against PDD, Temu, and some of the others there. And then also Adobe Analytics came out and said e-commerce sales are supposed to increase 8.4% from last year, which was a record year. That's got to be promising for Amazon.
More and more people are getting more and more comfortable with just pointing and clicking as opposed to going to the store, and it's just not going the other way.
I'm in that boat.
Two old dudes that are doing it. Yes, exactly. It's unanimous.
All right, great stuff. Great data as always, Megan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Megan Brantley, VP of Research at